welcome to another week of vlogging. It's already Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and I'm not even gonna film that much of my work week for two reasons. On Thursday, I go on like a work trip, so I leave at like 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and I come back at like 8 p.m. basically. And on Friday is the 1st of May, and here it's a national holiday, so that means no work from me. But I'll definitely be filming because I will go to parks, because around here on May 1st you get lots of music and like outdoor celebrations and things like that. I'll tell you more about it on the day. And also, if you notice anything different, I moved the desk and I made some upgrades, and that will also be in the vlog today, but I'll take care of that on the weekend. But expect some desk upgrades and like a little desk tour of my new setup and like things I changed on it. And then in terms of what I'll be up to work this week, I have to spend some time working with AWS, which I'm not the biggest fan of cloud, so there'll be a lot of that. And I'll try to share with you maybe what I'm learning about AWS. But yeah, the workday is actually almost over today. So not much today, but lots of meetings for me. But yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the vlog. So, I don't know about you guys, but this week I've been having the worst issues, like actually focusing, because the project that I talked about last week, not last week, but in the last vlog, is like more in its testing phase. So, like I said, now I just talk to different teams and we test the use cases that they have for it. So that kind of means that often my days get a little like disturbed by request and other people's feedback. And I know that's something I always struggle with a little bit, like when I have one project or even multiple projects, but they're solely dependent on me, then I'm fine because I know how to plan my time. But whenever it, depends on what other people are going to ask me or their feedback and like waiting for the answers, like learning how to prioritize efficiently. And so that's why this week I'm going to work on AWS, which is another thing I don't like to do, which is cloud, because I need to deploy that service basically so that actually others can use it and they don't have to go through me only for the tests. And also because we need some proper monitoring on it. And I find like cloud providers always a little scary because they're always so complex. I mean, I've only worked on AWS and Azure before, so I always find them, I don't know, I feel like their interface are so intimidating. Luckily for me, we have one data engineer in my team who's like specialized in AWS, and he's kind of the one handling all of the AWS stuff. So I have someone to go to. But right now, what I need to do is actually make a little priority list of the day to avoid like getting distracted, like I said before, which means like if people send me stuff during the day, I have my list of focus, and if something is outside of that scope, then I know that it won't be on the plan today. I can just write it down maybe for tomorrow or later in the week. But yeah, let's go for a big deep work session because I have no meetings until later this afternoon, so I'm gonna enjoy that to kind of deep dive into all this AWS stuff. Okay, done with morning work. Now I'm gonna take my lunch break. And yesterday I prepped some food. So this is what I have for today. It's basically what I make all the time, which is some sort of rice bowl. And this week I got a little treat for myself because I made salmon rice bowl. Usually I just make like chicken or something, but this time I picked the fancy option and I made like a marinated raw salmon thing, kind of like a sushi, I guess, but if it was in a bowl, and even sprang for some avocado in it as well. So I'm gonna have that, and quite frankly, when I work from home, I usually have lunch at my desk. I don't work, I just put some like random YouTube video on, but yeah, that's the plan for lunch. It's the weekend now. Actually, it's a long weekend because Friday is a holiday where I live. And so I'm taking it chill today. Because usually my weekends are actually like pretty busy between, seeing friends, doing social stuff, doing those videos, editing, stuff like that. And so when I actually get a holiday, I kind of take it as like a normal weekend day, as in I try to not do that much and kind of, focus on resting for my sanity. And so that's kind of what today is. And I will also go outside today. Wow, new concept for this vlogs. Well, not that I don't go outside usually, but haven't really filmed outside yet. And I will just show you a little bit what it's like when you live in Berlin on May 1st, especially because I live in a very lively neighborhood, which is really, really nice. But that means it gets sometimes a little overwhelming on May 1st. But yeah, the plan is to just go to a park and enjoy the music that they have and chat with friends, things like that. It's nothing crazy. And in the meantime, today, I also want to do a little project, like a little DIY. I've mentioned before, I have a 3D printer and I got a little like timer recently, but the issue is that when I put it on my desk, it's lying like horizontally, and I would like to be like 45 degrees up. So since it has a magnetic pad on the back, I'm gonna use another magnet that is gonna serve as a holder. I'll show you the whole thing anyway. But that's kind of my little plan of the day. And then just do some like meal prepping for the rest of the weekend, some cleaning, just, boring chores like that. We've got our first prototype. Many issues to fix. First of all, I didn't notice at first, but I actually forgot to add the angle. I just like printed a bracket basically. Second issue is the magnet doesn't really fit if you try to. I think if I forced it in, it would work. Other issue is I recently lended my hammer to a friend, so I actually can't hammer it in. Also, I don't want to hammer it in the prototype. But yeah, just gonna make this a little bit bigger and add like a slanted wall, and then I'll print it again, and that should be our final version. But that's why it's good to make a test first. Right now it's on a stand, and so that means when I type, I don't know if it's really, you can really see it. Maybe if I do this. Anyway, it's not super stable because the base isn't super stable, and I have this old thing here. Looks like a weapon. That's like a monitor stand, basically. But yeah, that you're supposed to like put on the desk, and I previously had it on, and then I took it off. I don't really remember one. I just like changing my desk all the time. And so I want to now put it back on because it offers way more stability actually. And especially now that I have the stand-up desk, it feels a little more sturdy when I lift it up. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna rise the little stand because it's also like too small. Right now it's just like narrow enough for my laptop to go under, but it's a bit annoying to like retrieve it. Then the print did finish from before. So this time I put the angle, and then there's like enough space that the magnet fits in, but it's like tight enough that it's like not going anywhere. I basically had to like hammer it in, and once it's gonna be like on the thing, it's gonna look like that, and then the actual timer will just rest on it. It's a honestly pretty powerful magnet because right now it's enough to hold. So on the desk, it will be more than safe. I'm glad I did the test, by the way, because I did have to change a few things. So even though it was a bit of a mistake initially to not have the slope on the test, and I will keep the test because it still has the hole there, so I can always add it for more accessories. But first, let's change the stand of the monitor. So as you can see, my desk setup changed again, which means I will soon be doing like a real desk setup video. So stay tuned for that. And that's kind of it for the vlog. I'm wrapping it up now because I started editing and it's already pretty long, so I don't want to add more. It was a lot of actually like more personal projects than work project, just some stuff on work projects with AWS. I figured out how to build the cluster to host the like LLM classification system. I kind of like played around with Bedrock on AWS, which basically allows you to easily change models and things like that, all in like one API, one interface, so the Bedrock interface. And also you have lots of settings to keep things within AWS and like within your network and make sure nothing is like going to like Anthropic or OpenAI or all those companies. So that's been pretty useful. Actually, I haven't like officially implemented it in the system, but just like tested it and see if I'm going to replace my like current API that I use for LLM into something that's into Bedrock, because there's also like a cost question, but something interesting to know. But I still hate the AWS interface. I find it so hard to navigate. I don't know. I think it's so ugly and not modern and not user friendly in my opinion. Like you can tell very, very technical people did that, I feel like. But figured it out, so that's good. I mean, I still have lots and lots to learn in that area, but still happy with the progress for this week. And yeah, hopefully next vlog will be a bit less of the weekend stuff and a bit more of like technical stuff. I'll see you in the next one.